Okay, we're gonna call this meeting to order. How's that's gonna work? Can I mute it?
You can lower it, sir. Ask them to.
That'll work?
Sure.
Yeah, I'm ready here. Call this meeting to order, determine that there's a quorum present. Now, we have Commissioner Wardlaw, Commissioner Nettleton, Commissioner Flores, and myself. We have a quorum. Commissioner Vasquez, are you there? Can't see.
Yes, I'm here, Judge.
Oh, okay, you couldn't see you. So we have a quorum. Commissioner Vasquez is with us. There's, 5 of us now. Commissioner Vasquez, if you don't mind, lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please, sir.
Yes, sir. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank y'all. Approving the minutes from the previous meeting.
Second.
Motion Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores, all those in favor? 5-0 vote. Citizens' comments, we have none.
Commissioner, what's that?
Budget workshop, let's go ahead and approve let's go to number 7, we'll go all the way to number 11, and we'll come back to budget workshop, because we've got Victor here. Number 7, approving subdivision plats.
I have 2 items, 13 and 14.
Okay, you'll come back to that then? Okay. Approving certificates of compliance,
None.
have none. Approving monthly reports from elected officials,
Second.
have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez, all those in favor? 5-0 vote. Approving bills,
Second.
have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores, all those in favor? 5-0 vote. Item 11, presentation by TAC Representative Victor Ovalle, presenting Making a Difference Award and Safety Award. Yes, sir.
Judge, my step
Yes,
up
sir,
here?
please.
Do I leave my face mask on?
Well, you're far enough away from us, you wanna take it off? As long as you don't-
Thank you. I'm just kind of getting used to talking like this out there. So, but Judge, I'm just here again to recognize the county and commissioners. Good to see y'all. I just wanted to, I'm here to recognize you for earning the 2019 Excellence in Safety Award from the TAC Risk Management Pool. And it was earned. This is because of the county's continuous involvement and commitment to safety in the workplace. And as you can control your workers' comp claims, it also helps to keep your costs down. And by keeping your workers' comp costs down, it also saves the taxpayers' dollars. Not only are you saving lives and keeping people safe, but it also saves, like I said, the taxpayer dollars. So I did want to show you this. This is the 2019 Safety Award. Like I said, it was earned. There's a checklist that must be followed that Larry Bacasio, Risk Control Coordinator, checks on, our Human Resource Consultant, Raleigh, checked on. I check on these things. You have to have an active safety plan. You have to have an active safety committee. You have to have all 7 components of the safety plan that we recommend that are in there and that they're active. And you have to have certain policies in your manual, safety policies, and the county is doing all that for their employees to keep them safe out there. So congratulations. We hope to give you a bigger, better recognition at our 2021 County Management Risk Conference, because we have to cancel it this year.
Check, but a check.
A check, yes, sir. So I'll work on that one. That one I have to do more work on. So,
All right,
but we do try to give money back. I'll tell you about
And we
this on this
did.
next presentation. Yeah. So hopefully add it to your collection, put it somewhere to use, because it does motivate employees when they see it. It does help to create the safety culture like that. And actually this year, y'all, the county received an individual award for a person that's been working real hard to support risk control efforts in the county. And this is our Making a Difference Award from the TAC Risk Management Pool. And it is presented to Juanita Barrera.
That's awesome.
Up there. And, like I said, this is also earned. Juanita, would you like to step up there? Thank you.
He ain't got a mask on.
Okay, put your mask on.
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
They're taking a picture real quick with Juanita.
Juanita, go up there with the judge. We'll just do the whole thing. You put your mask on too, sir.
We don't want
No,
this.
going behind
We're gonna take a
the.
little picture, folks. Wish y'all were here.
I got you.
Wish y'all were here.
And then if you'll give this to the judge.
And I don't put that in front
To the court.
Just look at, there we go. Perfect. Perfect. I'm gonna take one. You got it there.
Thank you so much. And I do kind of want to mention that this Making a Difference award was also earned. Well, Juanita, we actually had to, we're here helping the county on risk control, risk management. So we do need y'all's help. Thank you, Commissioner Court and other elected officials, supervisors for supporting this effort, because without y'all, we couldn't do it. We do this together. But, this had to be earned, and Juanita, not only do we look that he supports risk control efforts at the county and keeping employees safe, but she shows some creative ways of doing it. I think Juanita mentioned that she started Popcorn Fridays a couple years ago, so employees can come in and feel comfortable talking about their human resource issues, or they have a workers' comp that they're not feeling well, so they can be open communication with your human resources. And also, she's implemented a program for new employees when they come, that they give them a full day of orientation on different benefits, on safety, on customer service, other types of training. And actually, they try to take that employee directly to their supervisor, department head, so they can meet them. And Juanita takes them to other department heads, to stay there. And that kind of helps on the retention, out there. And she helps also on the wellness program, on your medical coverage. Trying to get employees involved with your taking your assessments and staying healthy. And you know what? The healthier you are, the better it helps on the workers' comp, because you can recover quicker, or maybe you might not even get injured because you're stronger. But it definitely helps you recover quicker. So all those efforts help to bring your claims down on the workers' comp, working all these other areas, not just on the liability or just workers' comp. She actually works all different types of areas, avoiding lawsuits on HR and items. So we all thought that she really deserved it. So it's only 4 people in the state got it.
Wow.
So she was one of them. They got it out there. There's other people deserving, but they make us pick one.
Yeah.
So we kind of picked the most, what we thought was the most.
Thank you, Juanita. Thank you.
And also, I wanted to tell you that award, the safety award, the excellent safety awards, only 20 counties got them. So you were one of the 20 counties, but there's over 200 counties that have workers' comp coverage with TAC. So you were the top 20%, that got that award. And like I said, it's all effort to keep your costs down, keep your employees safe, and, keep from having any fatalities here. So thank you, and I hope we can continue doing this. We hope to recognize you better at the 2019 winners next year at our 21-20 conference. Hopefully we can have it, with the situation with COVID. But we weren't able to do it this year, but we still have you in mind for next year.
Thank you, sir.
So thank you all, and have a good day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Congratulations, Monica.
Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna go back to item 6. Item 6 is a budget workshop. We'll start, I guess, we'll start with the top. First of all, commissioners, I know that a couple of y'all had some concerns. One of the concerns was the travel and training. That some of them have gone up or whatever, and I think maybe to go back the way it was or something like that. There was a concern about that. Yes. Yes.
I'd like to take travel and training back to last year and then cut it by 60%. With this COVID, most of the stuff is gonna be online. There's no need for a whole lot of travel and training. And then if something changes after the first of the year, then we can relook at it. But I'd like to cut it back, go back to the numbers that we had last year and then cut those numbers by 60%.
Okay. You want that? That's part of the motion?
That is one motion.
I will second that, Judge.
Just to be perfectly clear, the motion is for travel and training to go back to what it was and then cut it by 60% from the previous year. And then we would look at it right after the first of the year to see if other individuals, depending on how it's going. That's pretty much it? Okay. Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Vasquez, all those in favor? Anybody against it? 5-0 vote. Okay,
The other item that I've got is I think there's 3 new employees in this budget.
there was one in, building maintenance. I think one in the tax office. Huh?
Community center and tax office.
Community center, and then the tax office.
Now, the tax office is just part-time to full-time.
Part-time to full-time? So,
Tax
but,
office is just part-time to full-time though, it wasn't adding an employee, right?
Correct.
so I'm trying,
From part-time to full-time.
okay. But the 3 that you're talking about would be building maintenance and the community center and what else?
It was the tax office.
It was the tax office, so- but that we were just switching, so it wasn't,
We were, Judge, we were taking them in a full-time, so it'd be considered a full-time employee, not a part-time employee. So there was added benefits to that.
So then it's 2.5 really.
yes.
Yeah, I think we need to not add any employees in this year's budget, Jeff. We can look at it later, but we need to see how this pandemic's gonna function for the rest of the year.
Okay. The tax office was because of the added increase from the school, from the city.
Yeah, no, I understand and I agree that we need to take the part-time and move to full-time.
Okay, so,
I think we need to wait.
so 2 positions, building maintenance and, the community center, to hold off on those 2.
That's what I'd like us to do.
Okay, you put
Yeah,
that,
Judge, on the community center concerning that, I've got a part-time lady, and I wanted to convert her into full-time. And as it is, we've been shorthanded, big time. We get the road and bridge crew involved in all this food distribution,
okay,
so that's why I petitioned that position
okay.
to become full-time.
Okay, well, let's do this. Let's take one step at a time. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, okay, a motion for, building maintenance and the community center, not to add employees. We have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Wardlaw. The discussion, I think Commissioner Flores, you said that you would like to keep, to move one from part-time to full-time.
That's correct.
That
And,
one.
and I agree that we need to do something, but I would like us to come up with a plan on how we're gonna do food distribution long-term before we start adding personnel.
Well, we've been working on it off and on, and we haven't been able to come down to a conclusion. As it is, everybody wants to do their own thing, which is fine. So I don't know when that's gonna happen. So I need a full-time, I need to convert her into a full-time position.
I don't either, but we can come back at any time during the budget process and add an employee.
Okay, we've got a motion and we've got a second. I'm gonna go ahead and vote for this. I did put that position in, but I do think that while we're going through this budget process in the next couple of weeks, before we actually file this, I think it would be beneficial to the people if we actually had a plan on how we're gonna do this. So,
Can I have them repeat the motion, please?
yes, the motion,
The motion is to move the part-time to full-time in the, tax office, and then to do away with the 2 other full-time employees, one in parks and one in, community center.
Okay, got it.
okay. All in favor of the motion? Anybody against? Are you against it, Gus?
Yes, sir.
Okay, it's a 4-1 vote. I think we're all working towards the same thing, though. We need to go in there and come up with a plan on how we're gonna do the food distribution. And right now would be the perfect time to get this done before we actually, file our final budget.
Matt,
Yes, Commissioner.
we had some discussion yesterday, me and you did about page 3.
About what?
Page 3.
Okay. We did.
And this shows a negative balance of $7,181,491.
In all funds, excluding the grants aren't in yet, but the grants will be a zero fund balance, yes, that's correct.
Why are we running such a deficit? Is it because we have $7 million worth of grants?
No, the grants wouldn't affect that. That's primarily because we do have beginning fund balance. Just like, in your special revenue, a lot of that, 2.6 of that is from the hail damage, but we're planning on extending this coming year. But it is not wrapped up in revenue because we've already received it again, so it's currently in fund balance.
Our general fund is running a $2.1 million deficit.
That is correct.
We're using $2.1 million of beginning cash balance to budget.
And that is correct. And that's not unusual. Typically, you do run a non-structurally balanced budget, and you'll be using some of your fund balance that is increased due to appropriation savings. So that's.
I clearly understand that, but what will be our ending cash balance?
Our ending cash balance is projected to be right around $3 million. Now, last year, that was also our predicted ending cash balance, but we did have appropriation savings, and we had some transfers that did not come to fruition. So that's why our estimated beginning fund balance is at 5.2.
But at some point, we need to clean that up because that does include the transfer to the road and bridge, right? The shortfall in road and bridge?
That does. The shortfall of road and bridge is the 1.3, correct?
So 1.3 of that 2.1 is road and bridge.
That is correct. And that includes, 623 of capital and FEMA roll in addition to the 1.3 deficit.
Okay. But we need to, at some point, fix road and bridge. Do we currently use the farm to market tax as a revenue for road and bridge, or no?
Correct, it is. It's up there. It's the first.
960?
670, yes.
600, and then the 960 is vehicle registration?
Correct.
And that still leaves you the shortfall of 1.3?
Yes.
Okay.
When we were working through this, Commissioner, and I've told you and I told Matt both that I wasn't a real strong believer in that high of a fund balance, but with what has happened this year and everything else, I was glad that y'all were pushing that high of a fund balance and even higher, which when we were going through this budget, I guess my magic number was to make sure that we were bouncing around that $3 million after we got done in the fund balance. And we hit it. I mean, Matt got us there. Like I said, I mean, the previous meetings as commissioner, I was, it's too much, but right now after looking at it, I'm glad y'all pushed for it. So, it's a healthy fund balance.
In addition to that, what we learned in the past few weeks is you can have several emergencies. We just had the hurricane that came through the southern part of Texas, so they have another emergency declaration there, and they'll continue eating their fund balance as they wait for the reimbursements from FEMA out of there. So you are not just limited to one.
Yeah.
Multiples can happen at one time.
No, and like I said, I mean, my magic number when we were going through this, and last year and this year, was to keep that $3 million. It sounds like a lot of money, but, as we can all tell, it's just not a lot of money when you start spending.
I just want to make sure long-term we don't slowly dwindle into that beginning cash balance. I mean, I understand we have to because of emergencies, but that we maintain that. So that's all I'm trying to get to. I think you increased the contingency this year to $1 million.
We did. There's a couple of things in here that sort of stood out. I mean, one was the contingency to $1 million. The attorneys we raised by $200,000, and then we lost about $200,000 in the Marshal Service, and then we had another $500 some odd thousand, I think, in capital projects. The sheriff's the one that we're going to be spending a little bit more money than what we have in the past. That's in there. So, I mean, there's a couple of hits, and then when you went to page 4, I mean, from last year to this year, there's only a $300 some odd thousand increase, even after the property value had come in a little bit higher. But once you figured it out, I mean, we didn't make a heck of a lot more money. I mean, there's just $300,000.
Correct, we were offset with some, revenue
Yeah.
loss.
And then we're going to, I'm assuming we're gonna look at a tax note later in the year to fund the shortfall in Frontera.
What we had talked about was trying to do a tax note, and, Matt had asked me more or less when we would need the money in the bank. And I told him, and this will be up to the court, but I told him, that probably sometime in June or July of next year, July. That way we wouldn't be sitting on the money and be paying interest on it for a full year if we were to pull the trigger now. And that shortfall is gonna be right around the $1.7 million mark. I know there was some talk about maybe adding a little bit of money to that in order to shore up or to help with the fire department, either dozers or something like that the precincts could have, but that's something that we can talk about, through this process, and in case we want to, go out for a bigger tax note.
And Matt, at some point then next year, we're gonna have to look at increasing the expense and interest and sinking to balance and pay those debts.
You would, yes. Now, inside this budget is projected cost of about 1.7. Now, we know since July and June is our target date, there will be no payment. So we can actually add that back to revenues, the 270.
Cause I was looking at the sheet you sent us on our current debt.
Correct.
We're at the end of this year, we'll be at 2.5 on the library. We'll be at 1.3 on the 2016 series note. And at 1.4 on the 2019. And then 4.3 on the section of 2019.
But
And then our government leases, we're at 131,000. Is there any way we can just pay those off and save the interest
which ones?
on the government capital leasing 2017, those fire trucks? We have a balance of $131,323. Instead of continue paying it for the next 4 years, maybe just look at paying that note off, or that lease off completely.
Sure.
We're gonna be considering doing another lease for, the sheriff's office.
Sure, it is a callable note. We'll just have to make sure we are at our timeline for callable note, but we can pay that off simply with just the savings from the tax note we projected in that.
Did you get that? Did y'all hear that? Paying off the note, since in this budget was already a payment put in there for the $1.7 million, then we could use those funds in order to be able to pay off, the lease. Are y'all okay with that?
Yeah, we could pay off the lease and maybe look at, because our 2016 series note, we're at 1.3, so between those two, we could possibly pay off both of those notes and save the interest for the year. And then when we reissue that 1.7, we're basically not adding a payment, we're just keeping the same payment, continuing. You have 1.7 in the budget.
How would we pay off 1.3?
No. We can't pay off we had a payment amount we had a dollar amount in order to make the payment on the 1.7.
Oh, okay, the dollar amount.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
So that would pay off the capital leases.
Yes, sir.
So if we do something on the, sheriff's office, we wouldn't be adding, we'd just be paying off one and starting over again.
Yeah, depending on the lease amount. In this budget, though, if we come up with a number for the sheriff's office, for their lease, I think there was, $245,825 budgeted for 4 vehicles in this year's budget. So there's also money in there, depending on what the lease comes in, that, is already budgeted. We should be okay.
Okay, Matt, what was the savings on cutting travel and training?
Approximately travel and training, but before we take it back down to original, travel and training is a little bit over 230. So 60% cut in that would approximately be, almost 150,000.
So basically, there's your money to pay off that capital lease.
And then we still have the 270. I'm just teasing.
70
All right.
For other things.
Okay,
All right.
y'all got anything else?
I don't right now, I did receive a couple of memos from, Edgar.
Okay, let's do this, let's go through this thing, we'll start with my budget and sort of work our way through,
Okay.
all right?
Judge, is there are no salary increases in this budget, right?
No, sir. No, sir. What we're waiting on right now, the district judges have hearings coming up. And then I did get a request from Judge Henry to bump up his court reporter 9%, which would go to 82,000. But I've not got that in a formal request, but that's probably gonna happen. And we're waiting for, hearings and direction from the district judges on, purchasing and the auditor and their court reporters. And then, Judge Cadena will be here, in 2 weeks to do a presentation also, so we'll address theirs, when it comes up. But in answer to your question, there is no raises in this budget.
I would hope that the district judges understand that we need to tighten our belt and get through this year and then relook at this sometime after the first of the year before we start doing things like 9 and 10 and 12% pay raise.
Okay. Oh, I know. Well, yes, starting with my budget, the only thing that I put in there was an increase, in emergency management to go from 11,673 to 15, just because of what we're going through right now. I don't know, that was the increase, which is a $3,327 increase to the emergency management, area. I don't know if y'all have a problem with that, or keep it in.
I'm fine with that.
Are y'all okay with that?
We need to take, action on this.
It would be good if we had a motion on it, either to leave it or.
I'll make a motion to approve that.
Second.
A motion, Commissioner, Flores, second, Commissioner Nettleton, all those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote. Ms. Ramon, I think we went through this, you had some questions, I think, on travel and training, which that's been addressed.
Yes,
And then you had a question, ma'am?
that was my only concern.
Okay, so you're good with your budget?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Adrian, I think he's on the phone. I'm gonna crank him up a little bit so y'all can hear him. Adrian, you still there?
Yes, Judge.
Good.
Yes, sir.
Why did you cut his, office supplies?
I think that's what he put it at, right, Matt?
Okay.
Yeah. Let me get him on the phone. Adrian.
Yes, Judge.
Adrian, I think one of the concerns that you had, who else is on?
We're having a lot of cell phone problems this morning.
Okay. We're gonna try to get through this. Adrian, really the only thing that Adrian asked for, was a raise. And I told him that it was not, I had not put it in the budget, but I asked him if he wanted to address the court. I think one of his concerns was, that he had brought in some, I think about $75,000 to the county. That he was, and we can all agree that he's doing a great job. I just, I did not put a raise in his, for anybody. And I think Adrian had hoped that we would give him or consider a raise for him. Is that about right, Adrian?
Roger that, Judge, and, again, I didn't realize that the county wasn't giving out any raises, so, I didn't wanna come in and, seem disrespectful in any form or fashion.
You're not disrespectful. It's always one of those deals, you don't ask for them, sure you ain't gonna get it, so it's all good. At this point, okay, are you okay?
Roger that, Judge.
Okay, Adrian's good. Thank you, Adrian. Did y'all want to consider a raise for him? I didn't put it in. Sir?
Not at this time. I'd like us to review all of those in March, kind of figure out where we're at with this pandemic and all the costs. We don't know what our future costs are gonna be in this, so
Okay.
I'd like to wait till March review.
Okay, then that's what we'll do. Is the rest of the court okay with that?
Yes, Judge.
Everybody
I
should-
on this, I would hate for us to pick and choose who we're gonna give raises to. If we're gonna give raises, we're gonna give raises across the board or no raises at all.
Okay.
I want all the employees to understand, it's not that I don't believe they deserve it, I don't think the court believes that, it's just, we really need to figure out how things are gonna go for a while with the pandemic.
Okay. If we move on to the 83rd, or the 63rd, we're waiting on their hearings, so we get back, Judge Henry will get back with us. Joanne had, I talked to her, she was okay, she had some shredding, she had a shredder that she'd asked for capital outlay, but we visited with her, and she's gonna take those funds out of an account, out of one of her other special accounts. So she'll be able to do that. She said she was okay yesterday. JP1, no changes according to the phone call yesterday.
Why did
JP,
we not, budget any money for copy expenses in Big P1?
I get that from purchasing. So we haven't had it, I think they consolidated it, I think he's asking for, what he did ask for was a printer, and he's got a technology fund.
Okay.
JP2 is here. The comment a little while ago, Judge Foss, was to take what y'all had last year and to go down by 60%. That was a motion on your travel and training to cut it by 60%. So you'd end up with 40% of your 8,000, I think is what's in here, of what was in here last year. And then if you need more, then you can come back to the court. Are we okay with that?
You bet.
Okay. JP2 is good. JP3, I'll need to visit with her on the changes, on the travel and training to see if she wants to come back to the court. JP4, you were here when they made the motion on the travel and training. Everything I think was okay, but we did cut the travel and training right now by 60%. And if there's an issue, then you come back to the court. Are you okay with that, ma'am? Okay. Central Court at Law, there was, I think there were some changes in office supply that they needed. We went up on it a little bit, and he is, sir?
Don't they have, those brands that they can buy some of that stuff out of?
We've talked to him, we talked to him about that. Matter of fact, he visited, I think Friday is when I visited with him. And he was gonna look to see where he was gonna get some funds, and then also on the travel and training, he said that what he was gonna do with that also was try to use some of his, DWI funds to go to his travel and training on it. He didn't have a problem with that. That had already been moved over. And then the other thing was that, he was gonna probably come back at us to see what the other, what the district judges did on their court reporter. So he would wanna come back in 2 weeks for that. So I told him that, okay?
Good.
Yeah.
I'd like to make a motion to move his office supplies back to the 11-8, and then if we need to relook at it, we can relook at it.
Do I have a second?
Second, Judge.
Okay, I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez, all those in favor? 5-0 vote. Janie, did you get that one?
Yes, sir, I sure can.
Okay. The county attorney, she had wanted more money in, I think civil litigation. Anna, are you there? Lady, Anna?
Yeah,
Okay, you wanted more money in civil litigation. I think you wanted to go to 5 or something. Is that right?
yeah, it's not an absolute, but it's a contingency, because you never know every year, how much it's gonna be. If we could have access to money in another account, I would be fine with that. I
Okay.
just don't wanna have to come back to the court and say, I need money for witnesses or whatever, and then wait for the commissioners court meeting to approve it. I just need access somewhere.
Okay, well,
We had 1,800 this year in civil litigation,
Yeah,
and we spent 305.
right, every year is different. And that's why it doesn't really make sense for it to be that line item, because every year is different. But if I could have access to money somewhere else, I don't know, we don't have another fund, it isn't dedicated to me alone, and that would help, when we have those last minute cost considerable cases, mostly in the protection orders, but some we'll have hearings in the 2 weeks on those.
Is there not a special fund that covers some of those things?
No. I mean, in our special funds cover criminal cases and then, pretrial diversions, which is kind of a complicated thing that the judges worked out. So, no, not with citizens.
I think if we need it throughout the year, we can find it if we have to have it. Not leaving it.
Let's do this on that, if y'all get back, say, if you're short, if you end up spending half of it, then come to the court and then we set aside some more money. Or something like that, would that work?
I hope so.
Okay, that'll work, so we'll leave it like this right now, if you're okay with it, and then what we'll do is, if it looks during the year that we're using a lot of it, like Commissioner Nettles said, right now we're at 305 all we use, but if it looks like we're using 1,000, 1,200 of it right away, then we set aside some more money for you.
Okay.
All right, thanks. Auditor,
Can we not take out that 18,000 or a portion of that 18,000 for rent? I thought we were moving those people.
When we get to the auditor?
Yeah.
Yeah, what we'll do, there's gonna be rent savings here, the treasurer, and IT. That right there, we left it in because we didn't know how the building was gonna go. I think they're scheduled, they're hoping that they will be able to move everybody in for the 1st of October. They've already started putting down floor tile. So we can move some of this out if y'all want, or come visit.
The thing is, once we adopt the budget, we can't reduce an elected official or appointed official's budget. So if we're gonna reduce it, we have to do it now. I would be more, how long do you think it'll take to get them moved in?
They're shooting for the 1st of October, but if you want to give them a couple more months after into the next fiscal year, then we should be okay.
Maybe fund it through December, and then just remove the rest of that.
Okay.
I don't know what that's 18,000 for what, 12?
So, we want to remove 75% of the rent expenses in this budget then.
Do what?
Remove 75% of the
That'll
rent
work.
expense. Okay.
Okay. We're gonna take out 75% of the 18,000.
Okay, that'll work.
Yeah, it's across all departments.
Well, across the 3 departments.
Okay.
And we'll do
What else
that.
are we paying rent for?
The IT department and the treasurer.
No, but once we move those 3, then what we're paying is the veterans bill?
Yes. So on the auditor, we'll take out 75%. We'll retain 25% of the 18,000. Okay. County treasurer, I think he was okay with that. The rent, we can do the same thing. Just take out the 75% and retain the 25%, leave that in there. There is some stuff, and you're gonna see here later on in the budget or in the agenda that there's some stuff that they're purchasing with money that we already set aside, desks and stuff like that, that was left over out of that money, for that building, and it's on the agenda, so just to bring that up. Tax assessor, is he here? No, he's not there. Roy, are you okay with y'all's stuff? I think the postage, we bumped it up just for what we were doing, and you are moving one part-timer to a full-timer, and that stayed. Are you okay?
That's correct, it's all good.
All right.
That salary doesn't look right though, Judge. If you move a part-time to a full-time, you only increase the salary by $1,000. That number doesn't look right.
Juanita, you go over that? Okay. She'll look into that. Juanita will look into that.
You should increase by like 12,000 or something like that.
Okay. But either way, whatever that dollar amount is, just let's make sure it's right. Information technology, they said it was okay. Like I said, there were some supplies that they were going to be buying, but they were able to purchase it out of, funds, for that building. So they're okay. Purchasing, was in the same shape. They were gonna end up buying some desks, I think, and some other stuff. Is that right, Devin?
Yeah, that's coming out of the
Building fund? Okay. But you're okay with your budget for right now? I think the judges were gonna look at salaries or whatever. Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. County agent, no changes. The librarian, he wanted to lower the copier maintenance, but I have not received those numbers, to see what they actually were. He wanted to lower it to 8,000, but we left 11,420 in there, because I've not received the numbers to check and see what it was.
It was the same numbers I got, Judge, from him, 3,420 is what he said he could lower it.
Okay, so go ahead and lower it to the 8,000? Okay, we're gonna go ahead and lower the copier maintenance in county library, which right now it stands at 11,420 to $8,000.
Good.
Sir,
We got $90,000 in flip. Don't we still have money left in that bond?
there's money still left in different line items. One of the things, that we're taking money out of, was the, biblioteca. I think I'm just off the top of my head, and I'm thinking it's like $11,000 or something.
Correct, the biblioteca, and that is new, when the addition came, so that's an allowable expense. Before you had the addition, you were currently spending $90,000 in library books, even before the addition. So you cannot use these funds to replace general fund expenditures. So that's why the 90,000 is still there and not coming out of the bond.
Okay.
But the other one was new, so we were able to last 3 years or something like that to pay for it. Okay. There is books coming out of the grant money, which I think is like $11,000, which is called the biblioteca money.
Is there something gonna happen that we needed to increase office supplies by 2,000? He looked like he's on track for using what we budgeted last year.
Yeah, the only thing is, though, he's been closed for 3 months, going right at 3 months. So, I mean, he's gonna need it. Like I said, he's been closed for 3 months. I mean, they've been on and off, closed, literally to the public. Okay, the county fire department, one of the things that we, I think we've all been talking about is trying to get them another fire truck. And I didn't put it in this budget. I was gonna sort of wait and see where we could come up with some funds to do that, whether we could save money on leases or payments or whatever. But, we've talked about either a big brush truck or a smaller brush truck. I talked to Jerry yesterday, and he pretty much said whichever one that the court would purchase, he'd be okay with. The small one's about $225, the big one's about $215. When the difference in tanks, water storage tanks are about, I think it's between 300 and 400 gallons for the small one and about 700 to 1,000 gallons for the big ones. I know that Commissioner Nettleton, you've been out on these fires a little bit more than the rest of us. I think Commissioner Vasquez has gone out also. It seems like those are the two precincts that we've had the fires in. And I think conversation yesterday was that, and even with Jerry, was that the little one would work and it'd probably be just as maneuverable or more maneuverable than the big ones in some of these areas. I think that was a concern that both Commissioner Nettleton and Commissioner Vasquez had.
Well, I mean, I've been watching these, especially the Forest Service on these last 5 or 6 fires, and they use the smaller ones along with the Rangers, the Polaris Rangers, the small tanks. That's how they utilize those, and they have a lot of luck with them. So, I mean, maybe we start looking at those smaller trucks. I know the one that you sent me yesterday, Commissioner Vasquez, looked like a unit that might fit, that new GM, was it 6,000 or something like that?
It's a 6,500.
Yeah. And then maybe look at some Polaris Ranger. We still need to get these guys, figure out how to get them trained on these drones, because we're doing a lot of driving, and that was the point of the drones, is to get up in the air and figure out what we got. So we still need to deal with that issue.
Now, and just for everybody's information, I mean, we went out last year and purchased, I think a $4,000 drone. So we have it available, and I know we've talked about getting people trained, or sent to A&M, I think is who was gonna do it, to do the training if we ever sent anybody. I would like, if y'all don't mind, maybe we set aside $125,000 in this budget for another, a brush truck.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second that, James.
Okay, we have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez, all those in favor? 5-0 vote. Building maintenance, I think it all stayed the same, we'll just remove, I think we've already taken care of that, of removing one individual that we were gonna add as an employee. The other thing that had come across right now, let's see if Edgar's on here. Edgar, you there?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Okay. The other thing that had come across in here, we set aside, the precincts always have to go down and help building maintenance move stuff and with water trucks and everything else, so we set aside $25,500, I think, for a loader, and $25,000 for a water truck and capital outlay that is already in this budget. The two things that have come up in the last couple of days was that they wanted to reclassify two individuals, which just off the top of my head, those dollar amounts between both of them would be right around $7,000. I did ask Edgar earlier, if he'd be happy, I mean, if he'd be okay leaving them. Of course, he would like to have them reclassified, but I mean, we're setting aside $50,500 in capital outlay for building maintenance. I mean, so, to set aside, to give two positions, bottom line is a raise. My opinion is we don't do it, but it's up to the court. Edgar, do you want to address that?
Right. First of all, good morning to all. So as for our conversation earlier, I mean, if I was to have to choose between reclassifying, these two positions and getting, the machinery, I'd have to incline to go to the machinery because, even with this raise, I mean, it's not a very competitive, pay, to what's out there. And there's nothing that's gonna guarantee me that these employees will stay here even with this raise, and if I get the machinery, well, the machines are gonna be here, and that's gonna help us, a whole lot, and like you mentioned earlier, I mean, I would have to reach out so much to some of the, precincts, for help, with these machines, so, but yeah, these, especially the HVAC, I mean, I will say this, the HVAC it's helped out a lot, and it's, saved a lot of money, but again, if I have to choose, I choose the machinery, no doubt.
What do y'all want to do?
I think we leave the machinery in and then revisit this when we look at everything in March.
Commissioner Wardlaw?
Second.
Okay. A motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Wardlaw, all those in favor? 5-0 vote. The sheriff's office, he's here. I think we've looked, at the very end. Well, I had it earlier, but I think he's getting like $235,000 in this budget for vehicles. I know that okay, I just found it. I know that Commissioner Nettleton and Matt and the sheriff, I was actually on the Zoom meeting also. She's just talking way too much, so I got off. But if there is a possible savings, I know that y'all had visited at one point, I think there was like 26 cars or vehicles. And then the next list, I think we were in the 70s or something. So that got really confusing. So if we were gonna do the 20 some odd vehicles, what I asked Matt was to sort of get us something without the grant cars or whatever.
Okay, so I have it here. So there's a total of, county-owned vehicles of 45. Everything else is either through grants.
Okay, you keep going up. It's like, hell, we were at 26. Commissioner Middleton, how many was he at the other day? 24, 26, now he's at 47.
Well,
I don't know if they run or not,
we included all the county-owned vehicles. That number of 24, 26 was basically the units assigned to patrol with some spares in there. I believe that's that number, but we've added, the vehicles that would be in the mix would be the CID vehicle, the support vehicles and all that, that's all on this list here.
Okay.
And I think,
all of the vehicles on that list run.
there's some that have been, due to hailstorm damage, have been totaled. Some of them are, there's 4 that are parked. There's 3 more that are fixing to, be put on precinct 2's yard for auction that are county-owned vehicles.
Do we need then that many vehicles, or
Sir?
do we need that many vehicles if we?
My main concern in replacing vehicles would be the patrol units. The other stuff, the other vehicles that are assigned to other divisions, we can get by with what we have for now. But my main,
I mean, I think if we're gonna look at this lease, we need to include everything that you need. I'm just asking, out of that list that you have, is that the list of the number of vehicles, or do we need less than that?
Do you need more spares of your vehicles that you have work? I mean, like right now, you have more spares because you have these.
we can't get rid of some of them.
Huh?
We can probably reduce the number of the fleet of vehicles that we need.
Yeah, so my question would be, when we look at the lease, what is the number that we need, not so much the number that we have?
Don't answer.
You can bring it back to us when we have the next meeting.
Okay.
Minute.
Okay, my, visiting with Matt earlier today, one of my concerns would be, what is the turnaround time on when you're switching out vehicles, a transition from one vehicle to the next? When you're getting rid of an old vehicle, a new vehicle coming in, is it gonna be ready to hit the ground to work? Or is it gonna be down for 2 or 3 weeks?
I would say plan on being down at least a week.
Well, my understanding was that they didn't pick up the other one until you got the new one.
Okay, so,
Just gotta move stuff.
And it was my understanding it would come complete if that's what you wanted.
yes. That was discussed.
Yeah.
Karen, tell us what a total vehicle is exactly. Did windshield broke out? Caved in, what?
Total vehicle. Well, you're talking about a total vehicle. No, I think Commissioner Nettleton, when he said total vehicle, he meant complete, whether it already comes with the lights, the gun racks, all that. That's what he was talking about, not a total where damaged by hail. We're talking about 2 different things. Commissioner Nettleton was talking about a vehicle that's ready to go to work. Okay?
Okay, good, Sheriff. I noticed we decreased operating from 86 to 59. We decreased doctors and medication from 34 to 9, and then we increased auto from 200 to 240. If we've already used 19 or 20,000 of the doctors and meds, and we go down to 9, are we not gonna be short?
What is he looking at?
About the 4th line up, doctors and meds. Why did we put? We did put in 9.
Yeah, we're gonna need more, I mean, that's.
Yeah.
That's just gonna happen. But that
Yeah.
comes out of contingency, because you'll have to control that, so that's not appropriate.
Did you, I was wondering the same question, but it was explained to me when we were going through this the other day. bottom line is there's 9,000, that way you don't already appropriate the funds, you can always come back to contingency, that way you're just not out there putting a bunch of money and appropriating it, and, then if you don't need it, it's just sitting there. You come back to it.
I just was asking the question.
Okay. I think that I think the biggest hangup on all this is gonna be the cars.
Yes.
We do have, in this budget, we do have, 4 vehicles for them, but if it pans out to where the lease is, we can actually do the lease and we can switch more vehicles out, then that's what we'll do. Part of the capital outlay, he has 3 generators, also that's part of his, budget in,
I'd like to speak to the generators.
okay, let me go through this and we'll.
Okay.
What we have also besides his budget in capital are, 2 trucks, 2 cars, his radios again, which this will be the 3rd year that we replace radios. And there's actually a meeting today, to go over radios, is that right?
I believe so.
So, but that's in capital expenditures, and then there was a dollar amount for generators, back on page 36, which is $34,000 for generators, and he wants to address the generators.
Yeah, the generators, that are on 4 locations, need to be replaced at a cost, we got a quote of right at $38,000. Late yesterday found out that the generator at the TxDOT site also does not belong to TxDOT, it belongs to us. We carry the maintenance for that generator. So it's actually 5 generators, and you're looking at an additional $8,500.
The TxDOT not helping with any of that?
So these generators were initially the property of the Middle Rio Grande. They turned over the maintenance to the counties, 8-9 years ago. So we've had these generators. I know that the generators at, Loma Alta, Pandale, Humpville, and Comstock need to be replaced. This is an additional, generator at the TxDOT site down here on East Gibbs.
We have been on these generators, we've been out, I think we've fixed, transfer switches, we've put, propane tanks, we've checked them, we've run them, but they're getting at the point now, just because they sit so much, there's just, everything else is just sort of corroding and going bad on them. I think the last go round, we fixed, they're not the carburetors, but the
Injectors.
the system that does the propane. And they're getting to be really costly, just because they're so old. So.
I mean, we need them functioning because when we have fires and other events, we need to be able to communicate. So I thought we were working on a grant with Carl from the Water Development Board to upgrade some of that radio stuff, but how much do we need then to get all the generators where they need to be?
We had, there was $34,000 already in this budget. He's asking for another $8,500. We had taken out part of the money. He collects a lease for the towers. So we had taken out like $4,000 or something like that out of one of the leases to help with the money. So right now, to the $34,000 that we already have in this grant, or in this capital outlay, it would be another $8,500 to do that 5th generator.
Judge?
Yes, sir.
Are we not better to look at diesel instead of propane?
I didn't look at these. The sheriff is the one that brought them to me, but we can look at them before the next meeting. I can get you an answer before the next meeting.
I mean, it just appears to me that diesel works more efficient and lasts longer than a propane unit.
Yeah, and we're having all kinds of issues with the propane units right now, and there's nobody to fix it. It's the problem. You can't get anybody to go down and look at it.
Before we get to the next budget workshop, look at the price for replacing the diesel.
Okay. I'll get you a quote.
That'll work?
That'll work.
Okay.
On 5, Commissioner?
On 5.
On 5, okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Okay. On the next page, on page 26, the only thing that I changed there, again, this Madison group, I had on there where it says government affairs, there's a $43,000 amount there. I took out Madison again. I mean, they say, we lost some positions, out at the base that we're losing. It's like, here's a letter, we've lost them, not, here's a letter, let's see what we can go do about it. You know, y'all know where I stand on this. I don't think it's worth paying $43,000 a year on. That is pretty much, that is one of the changes on this, but y'all need to, you know, if y'all want to continue to use them, we'll use them. If not, we'll leave that money in there in case something comes up and we need to take a trip or do something, to go and,
So, I mean, you know where I stand, I think they do some good things for us, so, I mean, I'd like to keep them, but up to the court.
okay, whatever y'all want to do. I just,
The
again,
money's in there, right?
the money's in there. The money's in there.
So, when does their contract renew?
It'll be, it's with our fiscal year.
So,
It's up to y'all. You want to make a motion, and we'll go
I'll make a
on.
motion to leave it in there and continue with management.
Okay,
Make a second to that motion, Judge.
okay.
Need to make you aware, Commissioner Flores dropped off, he lost internet at his building,
Okay,
just to make you aware.
thank you. Okay. We have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor?
Right?
I vote no. 3-1 vote, Commissioner Nettleton, or Commissioner, Flores, his internet quit working. I don't know who takes care of that over there.
Oh.
Well, but we don't know whether it's
I
inside
can
or
have him
outside.
dial in.
Huh?
Let me have him dial in.
All right, if you want.
I noticed we increased attorneys.
Attorneys, we increased it, let's go down through here. Attorneys, we increased it by 200. We have capital cases coming up, and I know that we buy, I guess we sort of pay like insurance or whatever for capital murder cases, but these are capital cases that will not be covered. So Judge Cadena asked that we put in another $200,000 because he sees the need coming.
Who approves these expenditures? Because they never come back to the court.
We've had,
This particular general fund item is under the control of Commissioner Court.
well, they come back to the court and bills to be paid, but we've had this discussion before. I mean, basically, they sign off on it, they send it to us, and then we say yes.
That's correct.
They are in our bills to be paid. Okay? The other one, that other major one, like we talked about a little while ago, was the contingency. We put in there another $500,000, and that was done just because of the, you know, just in case things pop up with COVID, which we know that our funding runs out, well, end of the year, for the grant.
Correct,
So,
and we're gonna, that money is gonna be expended,
yeah.
so.
Yeah. And Matt just said that definitely that money that was awarded to us, that $720-some odd thousand, that it will be spent. The other deal is, we put on there the family violence, or it's the woman shelter, battered woman shelter. We put in there 90 versus 180. We've already, contacted the city, to see if they will fund again, the other, $90,000 of this contract, and, they were gonna take it to council. So I don't think it's their problem.
Have we received budgets for all of these agencies that we're sending money to?
The family violence, when they turn in the bill, they turn in what they're spending the money on. The Whitehead Museum, no. Casa Cultura, no.
And we also give these, historical, the Whitehead and the Casa Hotel Motel tax ones on top of it?
The Whitehead, no. The Casa, no. Right? We know, it's, they can come back to us, because we had that 17% or whatever that was in there that we keep over to the side. If they want to come back and ask us, but it's, Cedero Hispanic, the Hispanic Chamber, Cedero Chamber, the Hispanic Chamber. Matt's looking for it right now. You were?
Judge, why don't we ask you one of these, in a budget, before we approve?
We can.
Okay, I'd like to see what they're doing before we give them the money.
I know that, I haven't seen one this year. I know that last year before we did it, they did turn in, they did turn in budgets. We'll ask them for a budget before next meeting.
They did it last year because we fussed at them, made them do it.
Okay. That'll work. I'll get it to y'all before the next meeting.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to the 83rd, you'll get back with us. The risk management, there were some supplies, they went up $250 on supplies. I know that we had started low, and then we ended up, doing a transfer for the ink or whatever on that printer, and that's how come it said 4,750, but it was really lower than that. When we started, we bumped it up to 5, and that should cover the ink for the printer.
We had voted to put the money in there for that surveying equipment in capital this year. We need to add that.
That 28,000?
Yeah, it was something like that. I don't remember
Yeah.
the exact number.
Yeah, it's 28,000, is what it was. You wanna put that in form of a motion? And we'll just do that one?
I'll make a motion to add the in capital for risk management, the surveying equipment at 28,000.
Have a second?
Second, Judge.
Okay, all in favor?
Uh,
Okay. Commissioner Flores, you with us? Okay. You're there. I can't hear you, though. Let me get Rance. I can't hear Gus.
He's unable. Have him speak up, sir.
Gus,
Let me go.
and he's shaking his head. Well, we're gonna vote, with Gus. Gus, you can't hear us, so you ain't able to vote on this one.
You can't.
You can hear us?
He says I can hear you.
I can hear you, okay. Well, all those in favor, I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez, to do $28,000 for capital outlay for risk management for surveying equipment. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Gus,
Said I.
did he?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm taking your word for it, because you're watching it, so. It was a 5-0 vote. Constable, precinct 1, I'll have to contact him, but I think he was okay with what I've got here. Constable precinct 2, he was good with it. Constable precinct 3, and I'll get them all the changes on the travel and training to see if they want to come back to us on the 2nd.
They need to apply for those LEOs funds. There's travel and training money for the state. That's what Steve Byrd does in precinct 3.
He's the only one that has applied for the LEO's funds.
Yes, and his travel and training was cut to 800 or something, and so, I mean, they have availability of state funds for travel and training. They just need to go get it.
Okay. Done. And then on the travel and training, on the community center, we'll come back to it, next meeting. Hopefully we can come up with a plan on what we're doing on food distribution. And then we've already talked about the travel and training, so all that's gonna be cut. The human resource, that's gonna be cut. Staff development, it went down a little bit. Are y'all okay with that, Juanita?
Yes, sir.
Okay, because that's what you had presented, so human resources, fine. Y'all wanna do road and bridge right now, or y'all wanna go on the rest of the budget? Go ahead and do it. Well, road and bridge, we did add, that equipment repair, was one of the big items that we added, and that was for the pieces of equipment that are not precinct, that the precincts don't have control over. The bottom line is it's everybody. So we added a repair item in there for $30,000. I know that y'all have been spending money out of your own budget, so we added that $30,000 for repairs. That's pretty much the only thing changing on it. And then, precinct 1, I mean, it stayed the same. The only thing on operating, we went up a little bit, but that was because we added that $20,000 from FEMA money, but it looks like you're gonna end up spending that FEMA money, right, Commissioner Wardlaw, before this fiscal year, right?
yes.
Okay, so that money there, Matt, that $20,000 will come out and go back to original budget amount. Are y'all okay with that? Commissioner Wardlaw, taking that money out and then going back down? Okay. Commissioner Precinct 2, the paving, there is some money, from the TRIZ at $53,000. That if That's the way it looks now. If we hold to not spending it right now, then we roll over what you don't spend, Commissioner Vasquez. And then the other dollars are gonna depend on, the operating expense. Your FEMA money's been added in that operating expense, with your FEMA money, that your reimbursement has already been added to your operating. And we added it, and it's gonna be up to y'all, but I added it to your operating, that way you have a little more flexibility on how you're gonna spend it. Naturally, if you're gonna do capital expenditures, you gotta come back to the court, because it doesn't have a capital expenditure line, but at least this way you'd have a little bit of leeway. And then your 128 capital outlay, that looks like that's from the money that was already set aside this year. It's being rolled over. Are you okay with that, Commissioner Vasquez?
Yes, sir, I am good.
Okay. Also, precinct 3, again, both Commissioner Nettleton, that we put your money that we were getting from FEMA in the operating. That way you have a little bit more flexibility to see what you're gonna do with it. Your payment
I guess if the FEMA money doesn't come in, I use 28,000 to buy that loader. We're gonna need to reduce that by that amount so that it balances out. I think we took it out of operating this year, but it's supposed to come out of FEMA, but the money hasn't come in. So then we need to reduce
Well, we just,
by the 28,000.
yeah, well, we can just wait till it comes in and then we'll reduce it.
All right.
Okay. Your paving, if you don't use any more money out of that TRIZ, then you'll have the 25-4. So, are you good with that one?
I'm good.
Okay. Commissioner Flores, can you hear me now? Okay, can you get him on the radio, or on the phone? He's gonna try to get you to call in, Commissioner Flores. He's trying real hard. Are you, Commissioner Flores, you can hear me? You just give me a thumbs up so I can see you. Okay. Are you okay with your budget the way it is? I know you wanted more. You're okay? You're okay. Okay, well, I'm gonna say you're good. Okay, he's good. He gave me the thumb. He's good. If y'all don't mind, stop the budget workshop right now, and we go through these special funds and everything, the next go around when we have a couple of more people, the district judges and stuff show up, so we can get them through the rest of the budget. Are y'all okay doing that?
That's fine.
Everybody else? Commissioner Vasquez?
Yes, sir, I'm fine, Judge.
Commissioner Wardlaw?
That's fine.
Okay. Commissioner Flores? Hey, we're doing senyas now, doing signs. Okay, we're gonna close the budget workshop. All right, item 12. Sir?
One more item.
Do what?
One more item.
One more item? He's gonna,
Yeah.
we thought it was easy.
I know, we're almost there. On page 26, this
So I
was
did that on page 26.
either a typo from myself or from you. You had 18,000 listed twice, you got 18,000 animal control.
Okay, wait a minute. We didn't do that?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that one.
Okay, that comes
We have
out.
18,000 in animal control.
Yeah, that comes out.
Yeah, that was hit the wrong line.
Yeah, that one comes out.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. We good, Matt?
Good.
Okay. Item 12, approving AEP distribution line relocation on Senegas Road and Vega Verde Road and other matters relating thereto. What do you have? Okay.
Yeah, this is for today.
Okay, did they get one?
Yes, I gave them to this.
Okay. The bottom line is they're just going alongside the road, right? If you want to
Yes.
explain it.
Okay. Yeah, good morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioners. I have a meeting on July 16 with AEP to discuss the relocation on the Senegas Road and Vega Verde Road. The new line begins south of the railroad, of the curve of Vega Verde, continuing north for 600 feet approximately. The new line parallels Vega Verde towards the intersection of Vega Verde Road, Senegas Road, and Duckburn Road. Basically, they're just proposing the relocation on the existing overhead lines shown on the map that I gave you, I gave Elizabeth. The existing lines to be relocated are shown in blue. The new proposed lines are along Cienegas and Vega Verde are highlighted in red. They're just proposing relocation to, they're gonna stop using private easements, they're gonna start using the county right of ways. So I was informed that this relocation will be performed in a way to minimize disconnection times. And under Texas Utility Code Section 181.042, the electric companies have the right to construct, maintain, operate lines over, under, across, or on along county road, giving a notice to the Commissioners Court.
Do we need to vote on
This
this?
is just a notice of what they're doing.
Yes, that's just a notice. We don't have to.
And can we make sure that there's something in there that they understand that in the event we widen or do any work on that road, they're responsible for moving those lines at their cost?
Yes.
You can send them something?
Yeah.
One of the things, and maybe might be a little bit too broad, because they're doing this and they're coming and bringing this to us, the city's talking about redoing some sewer lines.
Mm-hmm.
Will they need to come to us and address that with us because they're going through our right of way?
Yeah.
I mean, one of the concerns is going to be, I mean, they're talking about going down Frontera Road.
I know.
They're fixing to drop, 5.
You can't hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, you got me?
Yeah, I got you now. Be careful. Be careful what you say. No, I mean, I think we just need to make sure that the city's gonna follow the same rules that AEP's following. I mean, because we'd hate to go in there and.
It's just a process, I mean, and we just wanted to update the court and the community of what's gonna take place, with the realignment.
Yeah.
of the utility code.
No,
Just following all the rules, and as long as they don't affect, our roads or anything like that, you know, break, asphalt or something like that, we're okay with it.
no, and we're good with the sewer line. The only, I mean, with AEP poles, the only thing I was bringing up is what is the process for the city or anybody else that's going to be in our roads? Like the city's fixing to do.
I'm pretty sure under the utility codes and stuff, they're required to come get a permit from us and we have some authority when it comes to city utilities, not so much with AEP or those, but I'm pretty sure the city has to come to us to get permission, and we do have some more authority than we do with AEP.
Okay. And that's just what Anna texted me. I just throwing that out there under this one here, that way maybe we can sort of get the city's attention that before they go out and try to tear up Frontera Road after the county's already spent $5 or $6 million on the road, maybe it might be to their best interest if they scoop off the road and not tear this road
We
up.
have authority to propose the location of the lines.
Okay. All right. I just, it seems like, you know, I don't want to do this backwards.
Mhm.
I mean, it's taken us a while to get this thing going, and then now we're getting a road done, and, tear it up. And I'm trying to be real nice here, but, I just don't want to, right, Commissioner, I mean, to tear up a road and then for them to come back in there and put a sewer line in afterwards, I mean, it seems like,
That's not gonna work. And I think it's all about, personal courtesy. I think they need to notify the county, you know, and get our okay with the plan of doing, in the future, city or, you know, AP, wherever it is.
okay. I just want to make sure we're on the same page. Okay. Now, well, we're good then. Item 13.
Just let me know that one last time that we're fixing to rebuild this road, and if there's anything they want to do different, they need to let us know now.
Okay. I think, you're already taking care of that too. So we'll send them 2 letters, one from Carlos and one from Richie. Item 13, approving replat of 105, 107 Burge, lots 3 and 4, Valverde Parking Space number 2.
Yeah. So this is a revision of plat or amending plat and it's proposed by Dirksen Engineering and from Uvalde. This is located in precinct 2. It's 105 and 107 on Valverde Park number 2. Lots 3 and 4, block 25. The owner is Raul Aguilar Murillo. He owns the 2 lots, and both lots have water and sewer services from the city of Del Rio. This is the second time that I bring this replat.
You what?
They are complying with the model subdivision rule?
Yes, sir. I took that application on June 24th, and it was determined by the court that this application does not affect the public interest or public property of any time. After that determination, I posted the application on the county website for 30 days as required. I sent grading notices to the owners within 200 feet, and I already received the revised plans and the fees for this replat.
So all proper procedures were followed, right, Mr. Carlos?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
You make a motion?
Is there a motion, Judge?
A motion, Commissioner Vasquez, second Commissioner Nettleton to approve. All those in favor? 5-0 vote. Item number 14, approving and determining fee for commercial replat of 3 lots totaling 8.755 acres in the Polar Edition on Farley Lane.
This replat is in precinct 4, and it's proposed by Mountain View Engineering. It is a 8.755 acre tract on a commercial subdivision that is going to be divided into 3 pieces. This is partially inside city limits and partially in the county. It is served by public water system of the city of Del Rio, and it comes with an on-site sewage facility that was permitted through us. The drainage, there's a drainage easement inside
Yeah.
city limits.
Commissioner Flores? Commissioner Flores,
Yes,
yes,
I
sir?
want to ask Carlos again, same question. They do comply with model subdivision rules, right?
Okay, since this is a commercial, this is a commercial subdivision, and the lots are restricted to non-residential use. So yes.
But they are complying with the subdivision, or model rules.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve this.
Second.
A motion, Commissioner Flores, second Commissioner Nettleton. All those in favor? 5-0 vote. Item 15, auditor's report.
Move.
Second.
A motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? 5-0 vote. I dropped my phone. That's what I get for texting. All right, item 16, certify revenue and assign appropriations, parks, vehicles, auction gov, in the amount of $3,154.
Move.
Second.
Motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores.
Where would you like it appropriated? Or would you just like it just to receive it in miscellaneous?
The vehicles were auctioned to, Parks is the one that auctioned it, auctioned
Do I need
the,
to go back? I'll amend my motion, the money goes back into the park department capital.
Second, accept.
you okay?
Yes, if that's what you choose to
Yes,
do.
okay.
Now, it's gonna go back to the capital. And they're gonna have 6 weeks to spend it? Or is this gonna roll over?
It'll roll over.
It will roll
It
over.
will roll over. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, 5-0 vote. Item 17, budget adjustment, attorneys, other, $23,215 from available appropriations. Yesterday when I looked up, there was still like 80-some odd thousand dollars in contingency.
Correct, that's in contingency. Now, in attorney's other, now in attorney's other, we still do have almost $24,000 appropriated for Bickerstaff. If we're not anticipating any invoices coming from them.
We have one more invoice coming in because it would, we got documents yesterday
Mhm.
on the SE Ranch, that I was supposed to sign in May. I didn't sign it. But we got documents yesterday, and they are releasing each other from different deals and on the quarry and everything else. We should be done with SE Ranch with what I signed yesterday. So we will have one more bill coming from Bickerstaff.
Okay, and then also, before the close of the year, we want to look at those and to see if we can get them into the revenue notes that were initially taken out, since that's expenses due to building or expanding this property.
Okay.
So we'll be able to, wash those out.
To
with
look
tax.
it out, okay.
Mhm. But for right now, since we need that encumbrance, you're correct, contingency 83K.
Okay, so out of contingency, is that the motion vote? Did you make a motion?
That was my motion, unless there's another place to get it.
Right now, it'd be out of contingency.
Alright,
Second.
Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores, all those in favor?
Aye.
alright.
5-0 vote. County Fire Department, $3,500 from uniforms to office. And I think there was a PO that should have come out of uniforms, but didn't, or something, that's what you explained. Don't know.
That I don't know, but there is, funding to facilitate this transfer.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez, all those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote. Tax assessor collector debt department, $1,700 from travel to office supplies.
Move.
Yes, Roy?
He's gone. But yeah, there he is.
Oh, yeah, I'm here. I'm needing that, to offset a, computer software payment that had to be made, and I don't know why it's coming out of office supplies. I spoke to Matt, I told him that we probably needed to readjust that and put it under computer maintenance rather than paying it out of computer supply, leaving our office supplies almost zero.
Second.
Who made the motion? Who made the motion?
I thought Commissioner Flores did.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, sorry, Commissioner Flores. Second, Commissioner Nettleton, all those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote. I guess that'd be something we can address in the budget too, since it's already been brought up, that payment.
I believe it's already been addressed.
Okay, so we're in. Thank you. Number 18, approving funding in the amount of $1,200 for the setup and transfer of the city's tax database to the county's database. Where's this money? Go ahead.
This would enable us to go ahead and start and cut a PO for the, this year's initial, setup for the database here. That's all they're waiting for is for us to,
Okay.
to cut a PO for.
From where? From where?
Motion to approve.
Okay, from where, Roy?
I don't have it in front of me.
Okay, that's like from where?
Yeah, in that discussion earlier with that postage, we've got 43 there. You said that you're being told you're going to be using that for the end of the year, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay,
So contingency?
correct.
Contingency, Commissioner
Vasquez
Vasquez?
is back when the city pays us, right?
But, well, when the
Okay,
city
come back
pays, we're gonna send the money together to,
It'll go back in our general.
treasurers, and then
Oh, sure.
obviously that goes into the general fund unless you have the auditor
As long as
have a
it
separate account.
reimburses the contingency. Motion to
Where's the
approve.
money coming from?
Okay, yeah, the money would come from contingency. At the point that we get money and we start collecting a tax, then we put the $1,200 back into contingency.
Right.
Matt's getting up.
The 126 or 176 that was allocated for next year into the general fund? That's just general fund money from the
Money.
tax office, correct? So that's reimbursing.
Just leave it alone.
We should.
Would y'all be okay, just take out the $1,200 out of contingency, because we have it this year, and then leave the budget the way it is starting next year?
That's fine.
Okay, Commissioner Vasquez, you're okay with that since you started the
Yes, sir,
motion?
I am, Judge.
Okay, have a motion, Commissioner Vasquez, second by
Second.
Commissioner Nettleton, all those in favor? 5-0 vote. Yes, sir.
We're still missing a determination of fee on item 14. Sorry about that.
Okay, we'll go back. Let me finish 19 and we'll go back, okay? Thank you, sir. Approving funding in the amount of $7,200 for mailing of 2020 tax statements.
This is the initial mailing. It all depends on when the court, actually passes the new rate. Then I can send the information to our publishing company. And this money allows us to, if you vote on a rate early, like before October first.
That's gonna happen.
If not, we can just switch it over to next year, you can pull it out of next year's budget. I just need to see if you all agree on a tax rate early on, I can cut it first order and be able to get those rates or the, tax statements, published earlier before October first. If it happens after October first, that's fine, it's on next year's budget, so. If you want this year or next year, it's fine.
I'll make a motion to approve it, and if it's spent out of this year's money, to reduce next year's by 7,300.
That'll work.
Second.
7,200, sorry.
Shut.
I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores, all those in favor? 5-0 vote. We're gonna have to go back to item 14. We had a motion to approve it, but we did not set a dollar amount for the replat. So,
It's for commercial.
yes.
So we need to determine a fee for the commercial replat on Farley Lane.
I thought we already had a fee structure.
For replat, we don't. It's already platted and
Before you
there's,
start,
I'm sorry?
I would recommend the court that we go with $500 fee.
I don't think you can, because when I readjusted the legislation that allowed us to only do 200 feet, we were only allowed to charge our actual cost. You need to go look that up.
No, we can ask for a fee for revision.
Can we just do the actual cost, make a motion for that, and then we just go on?
Okay?
And whatever y'all wanna do, but that way that would take care of this item, this guy's not waiting on it. What do y'all wanna do?
I think that would be a good idea, Judge, to finalize this one so that gentleman can move on forward at this time.
Okay.
That work?
Yeah.
Okay. We have a motion, Commissioner Vasquez, second by? Don't know.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Wardlaw, all those in favor?
Yeah.
Aye, 5-0 vote.
I'm gonna abstain.
Okay.
I think there's some things in the law that don't allow us to, we just,
Don't allow us to, okay, you look into that?
Yeah.
Did you have a motion? That work? Okay. At 4-1, one abstention. That work? Okay. Aaron, treasurer's report? This is a good one, Aaron? Is he there?
It's Mike though.
Okay. You need to unmute. You need to quit going sideways.
I'm going. Here we go.
There
Yes,
we
sir,
go.
this is a good one.
Okay.
This is the one that needs approval, and signatures.
Okay.
how are we doing on the interest?
As far as our textbook and text class, we're still doing a lot better than what we've done before. And, I mean, the rates haven't improved, but they haven't gone less than what they have the last time we reported.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Flores, all those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote. Item 21, discussing matters relating to COVID. The city hired more tracers. I think we're up to 6 tracers here. The numbers, when you look at the numbers, we'll just start with people that have passed. It seems like they're, even one's too many, but it slowed down quite a bit, compared to what it was. Dr. Lane did send out a text message on Sunday saying that the people that were being admitted to the hospital for COVID, that had slowed down. When you look at what the hospital's putting out, you can tell it's slowing down. Even our numbers that the testing facilities are reporting, I think we've had one day or something that, I mean, there was, I think, there was a number of just 2 people that were reported COVID, so it's slowing down. Last night, the city, my understanding is, approved an interlocal, with the county. I have not seen that interlocal yet. I don't know whether it's the one that we sent to them already signed and that we approved, or whether it's something different, but I'll have that information for y'all, just as soon as I get it. Again, it looks like it's slowing down. Letter has been sent to Chris Ryan, an email to her and everybody else, basically explaining that it's hurting us, it's hurting the city, it's hurting the county, it's hurting our businesses, and just asking them if they would please consider not closing over the weekends and the boat docks. I mean, the court is not asking to open the lake completely, but to consider opening the boat docks and keeping the practices that are in place, the practices that we have in place, and following those practices about the social distancing and the masking while they're on the boat dock. So that letter has been sent out. Again, I mean, we went from like 132 to, I think, 1,200, 1,300 on people that were released. We're still having the problems with individuals that are COVID. They're not answering their phone calls, they're not answering their text messages in order to get released. So that's still a problem. And when we all get the phone calls, well, so-and-so didn't get released. Well, so-and-so needs to answer his phone. I think Commissioner Nettleton, I think you had a couple of businesses that had contacted you, and then one of them, they figured out that 2 of their employees weren't answering their phone call, and then if they live in Acuña, that even makes it a little bit more difficult. But right now, I think that's all I've got to report. Sheriff, do you have anything?
We're good.
Sheriff said he's good, and we'll go into executives here in case y'all have questions or whatever that we forgot. Item 22, approving Escher and Company Consulting LLC contract for management of county transportation infrastructure fund program.
Move.
Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote. Item 23, accepting donation amount of $1,800 to benefit county food distribution, and this is to go like for individuals that are COVID.
Motion.
Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote. Item 24, approving an electric cooperative membership agreement between Val Verde County and Rio Grande Electric for the purpose of installing an electric meter along with light pole at the county pocket in Glendale.
This is so that we can hook up that well that we have there and put in we have a large tank there, so we'll have water for fires and roads and stuff. Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote. Sorry. Item 25, authorizing the capital purchase of 2 office desks for the purchasing department at a price of $1,199.99, each to be paid out of the county administration building improvement account. That's that building on Gibbs Street. Is that
Motion
right?
to approve.
Second.
A motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Aye.
Aye.
5-0 vote. Item 26, reviewing the RFP on geotechnical testing for Frontera Road Project bid number 20.0/006. Gavin?
Good morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioners. We have reviewed the RFP from Millennial Engineers group from with the selection committee they also was on the last Commissioner's Court. They scored a 344 out of 400. Believe that they are qualified. They priced us for 157 trips, 980 hours total, and about 6 hours per trip at a fixed rate of $162,701.
Where they coming from?
That's for the.
Where are they coming from, Gavin?
Oh, they're from Florida, Texas, Millennium Engineers Group.
can't find anybody closer than that?
They were the only ones who have, who submitted a bid.
I thought we had some judge, don't we have some geotesting people
Yeah.
locally?
We've got a couple of companies here in town.
Eagle Pass,
Yeah.
Carrillo,
Yeah.
Arios.
Why don't we rebid it? Or go out? Do we have time?
Yes. Yes. Guillermo, Carlos?
Yeah, this would be the third time we go out for it, and I believe, I mean, we would have to do it after, we would have to rebid, I would believe, after Frontera anyways, once we award, the Frontera project to somebody.
Yeah, that's a whole lot of money to be paying and most of it's travel.
Carlos has given us a thumb up that we want to rebid it. Tom's not here, so I can't ask him, but Tom and Carlos have been working close together, and so is Guillermo and Gus on this. So do I hear a motion, Commissioner
I'll make a
Flores?
motion to rebid out the geotesting for Frontera. Where are we advertising for this?
Guillermo?
We advertise here in Del Rio News Herald.
Can you send the local people a bid packet?
Yeah, we can definitely send out invitations to bid, of who we were interested.
I'll second that motion.
Gus, okay. Gus, you okay?
So, since we opened these, we're gonna reject all bids here.
Yes, motion to reject all bids and go out to rebid.
Okay, I have a motion, Commissioner, Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. And I think, in 2 weeks, y'all are gonna bring this back with Commissioner Flores, right? Is that right, Gus?
That's right.
Okay, to bring back to see if we're gonna award it or not, right?
That's right.
All right. Okay. Item 27, authorizing capital purchase of double drum steel roller for precinct 4 at an estimated price of $41,000 to be paid out of operating payment to be moved to capital outlay account.
Motion to deny, you have $128,000 in capital, you need to buy it out of capital.
Well,
I have a motion. Does anybody second before we have to go into this conversation?
I'll second that, Judge.
Okay, Commissioner Flores?
well, in the past, there's been a lot of buy equipment or anything concerning paving from our paving budget.
Yeah, but we're
I don't know if I've got the money in capital, but I've got the money in paving to buy it.
Then go pave a road with it or something. Y'all can do what y'all want, I'm not gonna approve all this. We have
Last week, 2 weeks ago.
I took it out of my FEMA money, and if you have FEMA money.
You don't have that FEMA money yet. You don't have FEMA money yet. Yeah, but you don't have FEMA money yet.
Okay. All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez, to deny the purchase of a roller for $41,000. Commissioner Flores, would you entertain if the motion was amended to allow you to spend $41,000 out of the 128, if that was part of the motion, would you accept that?
I would accept that.
Both.
My motion to take the money out of capital.
Commissioner Vasquez,
Yes, sir, I'll amend that also.
you accept it? All
Yes,
right,
sir.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 5-0 vote. Gus, how do you vote? You accept it? Okay, 5-0 vote. Item 28, discussing fairgrounds policy on collection of late fees and possible evictions for non-payments. Edgar, you there?
Yes, sir, I'm still here.
Okay.
And I put this, the item on the, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, Edgar had, I guess, visited with people, and then he called me too, and we have an individual, so we just sort of threw this out here broad, but we do have an individual at the fairgrounds that has not wanted, and correct me if I'm wrong, Edgar, okay, but we have an individual at the fairgrounds that, bottom line is, has not paid his rent on time. When we wanted to collect the late fee, has not wanted to pay the late fee or the rent on time, or the late fee because he didn't pay the rent on time. And he brought up that we could not evict him or charge him a late fee because, the rules state, what he said was that Donald Trump said that, we can't, he doesn't need to pay his rent, and he doesn't need to pay his late fee, and we can't evict him. He was explaining that meant, basically where you live, not where your horse lives. So, I just told him, just put it on the agenda, and that way the court can see what Martin,
Has he paid it all?
Edgar, has he paid?
Yes, sir,
Not since the
yes, sir,
COVID
he's
started.
paid, but the only thing we're trying to collect is the late fee, and then he's not wanting to do that.
He's paying late all the time, and the late fee he doesn't want to pay because we can't evict him because Donald Trump said so.
I'll make a motion that he has 30 days to pay all fees associated with that stall, or he is to be removed from the fairground.
Second.
Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Wardlaw. Did you get that, Edgar?
Yes, sir, I did, I'll send a notice out today, too.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote. Oh, my God. Everything that's going on. Yeah, Jesus. Yeah, item 29, authorizing the sheriff to purchase a paper shredder for the amount of $1,179.99 to be paid out of operating supply line item. Have a motion, Commissioner Flores, I think, second Commissioner Nettleton, all those in favor? Aye, 5-0 vote. Item 30, authorizing the sheriff to purchase a Dell Sonic Wall TZ350 for the amount of $742 to be paid out of operating supply line item.
This isn't part of our IT program or?
According to Rev, and he can speak to it, but, the wall, the equipment was damaged in a storm for the Comstock office, so we're just replacing damaged equipment.
Okay. Motion to approve. We don't have money in that IT program?
They're going through it.
It was not budgeted for
Yeah.
that machine.
Yeah, it was not budgeted for that machine, and they're going through it. I mean, we've already come back and asked for more money.
Second that.
All right.
Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores, all those in favor? 5-0 vote. Item 31, authorizing the sheriff and the county judge to sign the update on law enforcement law enforcement support office, the LEO's application for participation in the 1033 program.
This is, a renewal of this agreement. It's an annual, renewal of the 1033 agreement that we are eligible for surplus stuff from other agencies or the U.S. government.
Move.
Second.
Now, motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores, all those in favor? Aye, 5-0 vote. Approving the Organized Crime Drug Enforcement Task Force fiscal year 2020 agreement.
Move.
Second.
Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores, all those in favor? Aye, 5-0 vote. Item 33.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. You did a good job, Sheriff. Item 33, authorizing CVS Pharmacy to administer flu shots to county employees at the county courthouse, if the county employees want it. It's not mandatory.
No, sir, it's not.
Who's paying for it?
It'll come out of the insurance, really, there is no cost to the employees.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores, all those in favor? Aye.
When does this happen, Juanita?
Mid-September.
Thank you.
I'm gonna send out a notice and everything to everybody.
Okay. All those in favor? I didn't hear.
Aye.
Aye. 5-0 vote. Item 34, clarifying the stay-at-home leave policy for employees with children who attended school There's been a lot of, questions, and I asked Juanita just to put this on the agenda so we could make a decision. Some of the paperwork that was sent to us at the beginning, it was that there was 12 weeks that we had to pay. The court, as a whole, starting back in March starting in March and going in through April and even part of May, allowed individuals, to stay at home, especially those that had kids, even before the order came out. So, right now, the way it looks like, and Juanita, correct me if I'm wrong, please, is that, the school right now is gonna do 3 weeks of stay at home. And there's not an option the first 3 weeks. The kids will stay at home. So we can either, the court can vote to give them those 3 weeks of people that need to stay at home because they have kids and have them work from home and get paid. Or we can use, sort of get credit from the weeks that we'd already given them, which are about 2 weeks out of the weeks that we'd already given them.
Yes.
That we would not have to pay and have to only pay 1 week. My recommendation, just to simplify it, and just because what y'all have done in the past, would be to pay them the 3 weeks. And if at the end of the day there's money left over that we could get reimbursed, let's try to get reimbursed. After the 3 weeks, though, if the school keeps their course and says that we're going to do, you're either going to stay at home, you're going to send them to school, or you're going to do a hybrid. At that point, because you have a choice, we are not bound or obligated to pay our employees after the 3 weeks. So there's 2 things here that we need to consider. Are we willing to pay them the 3 weeks, or try to use some of the weeks that we've already paid them? Once we get past that hurdle, after the 3 weeks, the employees, we are not obligated to pay them anymore, so they would have to use vacation and comp time in order to be able to stay home. So there's 2 things here that y'all need to, sir.
Can we make it comp time first and then vacation?
Yes. Yes, sir, we can.
I'll
We've
make a
been,
motion to pay the 3 weeks, and then after that, they use their comp time first and then their vacation.
Second.
Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton. I guess I should have let you say.
if I may add, those employees that are gonna be staying at home because they have a child not going to either school or daycare, once those 3 weeks are up, even before, they're gonna have to come by HR and apply for FMLA. Because we need to track that time, because it'll be a total of 12 weeks that the county will be only responsible for. So once the employee uses up those 3 weeks, the 9 weeks that are left over, they still have to use either vacation or comp. It cannot be sick leave. And then once it's exhausted, you go on unpaid leave.
Can you verify they actually have kids that are in school and we don't have employees?
And that's what I'll be doing, Commissioner. I'm gonna set up appointments with the individual employees, because as the law stipulates, you have to have justification why you're staying home.
Okay.
There's a sheriff that's standing behind Juanita. I think you had a question. I think you wanted to give
My
us.
question would be essential employees, like, for example, deputies, who fall in the same category of having school-age kids staying at home.
When I read the thing, we're fixing, it's opening up a can of worms for us.
Like the one.
No, it's opening up a can of worms for us, because the whole deal is, though, that if they don't have a way for those kids to learn the 3 weeks that they're home, because there's nobody there, I gotta take them. That's the way I read it. I mean, and we can't, I don't know how we divide that.
And they do go home, but as the act stipulates, it's either your vacation or your comp. And we use comp because they always recommend we exhaust that. An employee cannot go on sick leave, but the act only is gonna cover through the end of December. It took effect April 1, and it ends in December, depending on what happens. And we don't know what the school district is gonna do after the 3 weeks. We still don't know, but
And you're gonna have to be creative, sure. I mean, once you get that list, I mean, do you start switching them after, the ones that were working the other day, do you switch them towards at night, your different shifts? I mean, and we have a week, and we only have a week to figure out who's staying home.
Okay.
Okay?
I would like to add, just for your information, one part of the act is the COVID situation where an employee is directly affected by COVID or has a family member that's affected by COVID. As of today, since we've been tracking in the system, we have about 66 employees that have used, most or some of the 80 hours that they're allowed to carry under emergency sick leave. So we are tracking that. Once you exhaust those 80 hours, you go on sick leave.
If they're sick.
If they're, yeah,
they have COVID
if you've got COVID, that's one part of the act. If you have COVID or you came in contact with somebody, the law requires that we give you 80 hours of emergency paid sick leave, and we are tracking that.
But they just can't take the other 80 hours
No,
of
sir.
of COVID.
No.
Okay, all right, that'll work.
Yeah.
We have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 5-0 vote. Item 35, man, we got a lot of stuff on here.
No, that's not,
Mr. Ramon, acting on the request for the use of county courthouse space for the processing of election night results, the use of election equipment and supplies, ballot boxes, in order to conduct the November 3rd, 2020 regular elections and runoff elections, if necessary, by the San Felipe Del Rio Consolidated Independent School District, School Board of Trustees, City of Del Rio, Valverde County Hospital District, Comstock Independent School District, or Comstock Independent School District Board of Trustees.
Move.
Second.
Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores, all those in favor? Aye, 5-0 vote. Item 36, designating election polling places for November 3rd, 2020 general election.
Jamie.
Yes, sir. I have one correction to make to the list. Precinct 43 was placed at Northside, and it should have been with the Comstock Community Center.
Are you gonna be able to find enough staff?
We're working on that right now. I have a couple of ideas of, I have let certain people know that we're gonna need a lot of workers. And so I have a form here that I want potential workers to fill out for us so we can kind of weed them out. And there will be a training thing that we have to go through first before we decide on who to hire. We know we're gonna be desperate to get workers, but we really have to be careful that they understand what it is that they can and can't do. And so some of these, people that are interested have never worked before, so we need to make sure that they have the proper training in order to do that. All I can do is tell you that we're gonna try. We're gonna try, and if something happens and we're not able to staff all the polling places, I will definitely be coming back to the court, and we will make some, we'll have to make some adjustments.
Is there gonna be any state or federal money for hazard pay for these, election workers?
To my knowledge, right now, there hasn't been anything, but they are making changes, as we go, so it might be possible. I know that we did the runoff election, and that was definitely hazardous, and nothing was, I'm sorry, but it was. I mean, you were coming in contact with people, and you had people that refused to follow the rules, and so you're putting, the county did what it needed to do to protect the workers. We spent a lot of money, buying the proper, PPE equipment for them, the shields that we installed so that they wouldn't come in direct contact with that person, but
I really feel that those ladies did a tremendous job for us. I was lucky to get them to come out. All we can do is we plan to send letters to every single person that has ever worked with us before an election and ask them to respond if they believe that they might be available for November, and go from there. And then, of course, we're gonna recruit new ones as much as we can. And what helps here is that we may, be asking like the school district and the city and, that some of their employees who are needed, that perhaps, they get some kind of lead from their employer to be able to help out, since their elections are going on at the same time.
And they've agreed to these locations, the schools and the.
No, sir, it is the responsibility of the commissioners court to set the polling places first, because, according to their rules, they need to, in a general election, when they join us, and because it wasn't their choice, they got moved to the general. But in the general, they have to follow the commissioners court, polling places.
So in Comstock, you're gonna have 32, 42, and 43?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Motion to approve.
Second.
Thank you.
I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Flores, with the change being that, 43 will move to Comstock. All those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote. Item 37, establishing the number of clerks to serve per polling place for the November 3rd, 2020 general election and appointing same.
Move.
Second.
I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Flores. All those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote. Item 38, approving the preliminary list of election clerks and setting the rate of pay at $15 per hour for the November 3rd, 2020 general election.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion, Commissioner Flores, second, Commissioner Nettleton.
Yep.
All those in favor? Aye. 5-0 vote. Item 39, appointing the Central County Station Manager, Judge, alternate judge for the November 3rd general election.
Move.
Second.
A motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. 5-0 vote. Item 40, appointing Valverde County Clerk Deputies for the November 3rd general election.
Move. Second.
Motion, Commissioner Flores, second, Commissioner Nettleton. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. 5-0 vote. Item 41, appointing the tabulation supervisor for the November 3rd, 2020 general election.
I am looking an alternate candidator. I usually do not have one, but because this election is gonna be so big, we are looking, and I probably will look to the city, the school, and the hospital to recommend somebody for that, and I can bring that back to the court if they want.
Yeah, motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner, Vasquez. And those names, Jamie, those are gonna be part of the minute, right? Minutes?
Yes, sir. All of the, yes, I sent you.
They're in here.
Yeah, yes, sir.
All right, thanks. All those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote. Appointing the early ballot board for the November 3rd, 2020 general election.
Move.
Second.
Second.
Commissioner Nettleton, made motion, Commissioner Vasquez seconded it. All those in favor? 5-0 vote. Monday.
Can I say something?
Yes, ma'am.
If we feel that we will need more than one ballot board, I will bring back the second ballot board, depending on the turnout and the amount of mail ballot, applications that we get. We may need another board to handle it. But right now, I wanna go with one for sure, and if I need another one, I'll come back to the court.
Okay.
Are we expecting an issue with all this going on with the post office and the ballots?
We have a procedure that we follow and that we're required to follow. And I can tell you that in my years of doing, elections and having to mail out ballots, I've worked closely with the post office and I've never encountered that problem. Now that, I cannot speak for what problems they're gonna have in their staffing and if their funding is done or anything else is done. We may have to look for alternative ways to, one, get the ballots out and two, get them back. So I hope not. That's all I can tell you right now, because there's nothing for sure out there.
Well, yes, Janie, if you don't mind, on 39, 40, and 40, 39, 40, 41, and 42, can you read off the names for item 39?
Okay, number 39?
Uh-huh. Just for the record, I know that the commissioners have this in their file, but just for the record.
Okay. The Central County Station Manager is usually the county clerk or the elections administrator, so that would be me.
Okay.
And also Jamie, that's the other one. For, judge, the judge is Jovita Christie Alero, which she has always been our judge for a long time. And the alternate judge would be Diana Cadaz. That's 39. On 40, these are my current staff members, and that is Mary Aguirre, Diana Cala, Yvonne Avila, Bertha Benoit, Belinda Sigue, Maria Fuentes, Monica Marines, Cindy Sachel, Beatrice Vega, and Ivan de la Cruz. That was number 40.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, on number 41 is Cindy Sawtell is the tabulation supervisor, and I have I don't have to have an alternate, but I feel better going into it with an alternate, and we're currently looking to see who we're going to appoint for there, and I'll be bringing that one back. That one back.
And then 42, please.
That was 41.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you need me to read 42?
If you don't mind, please, that way we know what we're doing.
I don't mind at all. Okay, early ballot board, Dana Taylor, Ruby Nieto, Yolanda Garcia, Thelma Palma, David Hood, and Lori Ann Sagag. That is the board that I had in these last two elections. Again, once the commissioners court approves this, I still have to send them letters and make sure that they can accept and that they're gonna be available.
Okay,
So if any changes are made, I'll be sure and bring those back.
okay, thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Item 43, executive session items that may result in action in open session thereafter, closed session consultation pursuant to Texas Government Code, A, 551.071, parentheses 2, attorney-client privilege, B, 551.072, deliberation regarding real property, C, 551.071, parentheses 1, parentheses A, contemplated litigation, and we'll go into executive session in probably about 3 or 4 minutes, and we go to the restroom. All right?
Next, to take out that 2020 tax note, I didn't see it on mine. I mean, obviously I'll bounce all this stuff against the
Okay,
minute.
I didn't catch the first one.
To take out the Frontera 2020 notes,
Well, we can talk about it the next go round.
okay.
Because, we'll go back right now. And
I could have missed it, but I.
you say when, we're ready? Commissioners Court's back in session. Real quick, we're gonna go back to item 6, the budget workshop, and Matt just brought up about the tax note, what we're gonna do with that, and I think in visiting, and correct me if I'm wrong again, there might be other items to add to that tax note other than the $1.7 million, is that correct? We'll need to come back with that? Okay. That work?
So we're taking it out?
The payment.
Or we leave, yes.
I would take the payment out.
Take the payment out.
Take the payment out because we'll end up doing it in the middle of next year and our payment won't be till the 2022. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. And then that money there, if we need to shore up something else, we can. All right? Because we still don't know what our actual cost is going to be on enterprise. Right? We don't know.
Yeah, I do. We got vehicle count though, right?
No, we don't know because we don't know exactly how many vehicles we're getting. Depending on the vehicles that we're gonna get will depend the price.
We started at 45 today and we came down to 37.
Okay, well, that's the number that y'all need to come back with in a couple of weeks, how we can figure that out. All right, no action was taken in executive session. On the COVID, we'll go to the COVID. I think Commissioner Nettleton on COVID, you had spoke with Rand to see if we had, computers?
Yes, I visited with him, he was gonna go through our inventory of computers to see if we had anything available that we could let the school district use for the kids that are at home. And then we can get a hold of the school district once we figure out what that is and see if that fits for what they need.
That work?
That'll work.
They're good? Okay. All right, commissioners, y'all have any comments? None? County Judge, no comments at all? And, this meeting's adjourned. Y'all be safe. Have a good day.